Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
This is Paige, the co-host of Giggly Squad. I use Uber Eats for everything, and I feel like people forget that you can truly order anything, especially living in New York City. It's why I love it. You can get Chinese food at any time of night, but it's not just for food. I order from CVS all the time. I'm always ordering from the grocery store. If a friend stops over, I have to order champagne. I also have this thing that whenever I travel, if I'm ever in a hotel room, I never feel like I'm missing something because I'll just Uber Eats it. The amount of times I've had to Uber Eats hair items like hairspray, deodorant, you name it, I've ordered it on Uber Eats. You can get grocery, alcohol, everyday essentials in addition to restaurants and food you love. So in other words, get almost anything with Uber Eats. Order now. For alcohol, you must be legal drinking age. Please enjoy responsibly. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Hello, everyone. I just want to tell you about a podcast I think you'll enjoy. If you're like me, I'm always on the podcast apps looking for something else scary to add to my feed. And this one is called The Most Terrifying Places in America by the Travel Channel. On the podcast, they visit some of the creepiest locations across the United States. They go to a hotel in New England where guests wake up and they're covered in scratches. My personal favourite is the one where there's a church in the middle of the woods and the security guards have to stay there for the night, and it's really, really creepy. There's so many different places on there. Get yourself a nice coffee or tea, pop it on and enjoy. Listen to The Most Terrifying Places in America wherever you get your podcast.
This is Paige, the co-host of Giggly Squad. I use Uber Eats for everything, and I feel like people forget that you can truly order anything, especially living in New York City. It's why I love it. You can get Chinese food at any time of night, but it's not just for food. I order from CVS all the time. I'm always ordering from the grocery store. If a friend stops over, I have to order champagne. I also have this thing that whenever I travel, if I'm ever in a hotel room, I never feel like I'm missing something because I'll just Uber Eats it. The amount of times I've had to Uber Eats hair items like hairspray, deodorant, you name it, I've ordered it on Uber Eats. You can get grocery, alcohol, everyday essentials in addition to restaurants and food you love. So in other words, get almost anything with Uber Eats. Order now. For alcohol, you must be legal drinking age. Please enjoy responsibly. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Toby.
And welcome to the Whispering Woods Haunted episode. On this episode, we are going to
Sumatra, Indonesia.
We've got one long story. This one is a bit different because I really wanted to do like a national park because it's summer, basically. And it is a bit different because it's kind of like a creature, possibly a cryptid. Not sure really. But I heard about this story years ago. I can remember watching a documentary and I was like, yes, that's a good story to do. We're getting straight into it. Are you ready for the first story?
Yes, I am.
Nestled in the highlands of western Sumatra, Kerinci Seblat National Park is a sprawling tropical jungle shrouded in mist. Covering about 13,000 square kilometres, roughly the size of Montenegro, this protected rainforest is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for its rich biodiversity and remote wilderness. It's a place of dense foliage, hidden valleys, and cloud-covered volcanoes, where Sumatran tigers, rhinos, and elephants roam. And according to local law, something far more elusive. For over a century, villagers, explorers, and researchers have reported encounters with an unknown bipedal ape in these forests. We'll take a look into the legend of the orang pendek, the short person of Kerinci Seblat, examining the sighting's cultural context and ongoing quest to verify this cryptid's existence. Kerinci Seblat National Park spans the Bukit Barisan mountain range, including Mount Kerinci, Sumatra's tallest volcano, and lush rainforests teeming with life. Despite modern mapping technology, large swathes of this park remain essentially unexplored by humans. Its dim, steamy interior of towering trees, muddy rivers, and vine-tangled slopes form a true lost world, where it's easy to imagine undiscovered species lurking. Scientists consider Kerinci Seblat one such place, where few humans tread and animals unknown to science could still thrive. The park's remoteness and difficult terrain mean that even today, a trek into its heart is an adventure. One moment you're pushing through giant ferns under the cacophony of jungle insects, and the next you might find peculiar footprints on the trail, or hear an eerie call echoing through the trees. It's the perfect backdrop for the legend of a hidden ape. Local people in Sumatra have long spoken of the orang pendek, meaning short man in Malay. Unlike the island's well-known orangutan found in northern Sumatra, the orang pendek is described as a small, ground-dwelling primate, around 40 feet tall, but remarkably strong and stocky. Eyewitnesses say its body is covered in dark fur, usually black, charcoal grey, or a rusty honey colour, sometimes with a flowing mane of hair down its back. Notably, it's always seen walking upright on two legs, with a human-like gait, its long arms swinging by its sides. The creature's general shape is ape-like, with broad shoulders, long arms, and short legs. Yet villagers often remark on its oddly human-like face and neat features rather than an animal's muzzle. Those who claim to have seen orang pendek also recount details of its behaviour and diet. Unlike orangutans that stick to the trees, orang pendek is said to live on the forest floor, foraging through the undergrowth. It reportedly feeds on forest fruits, wild tubers, young shoots, and ginger roots. Witnesses have observed it tearing apart rotting logs to snatch insect larvae, or grubs hidden inside. A handy protein source in the jungle. On rare occasions, orang pendek has even been alleged to eat freshwater shellfish or carrion. One old account claimed a short ape was seen scavenging from a dead rhinoceros that fell into a trap. Generally, however, its favourite foods are said to be tender plants, and whatever small creatures it can easily dig up or catch on the ground. Despite its formidable strength, villagers say that orang pendek can uproot small trees or snap thick vines when enraged. The creature is not known to be aggressive towards humans. On the contrary, local law holds that the orang pendek is shy and reclusive, usually fleeing as soon as it spots a person. It moves quietly and quickly through the jungle on two legs, vanishing before most observers can get a good look. If cornered or startled though, it may let out a startled cry, described as a sharp hooting or hoo-hoo sound, and has been reported to hurl sticks or rocks in self-defense. This mix of avoidance and occasional bluff displays it's consistent with a wild primate, one that recognises humans as a threat, yet isn't entirely fearful of them. For the indigenous peoples and rural communities around Kerinci, orang pendek is part of the cultural stories of the forest, the creature of flesh and blood rather than spirit. The Orang Riba, Kuba people, and the Malay settlers of Sumatra have many names for this cryptid. Depending on the region, it's known as Sidipa or Sidipak in the southeastern lowlands, Guga in parts of southern Sumatra, Aturimba in the Rawas area, or Sibaba in Bengkulu province. These names have been handed down through generations, indicating that the creature has been part of oral history. Yet, unlike truly supernatural beings or forest spirits, the orang pendek is not credited with magic or ghostly powers by the locals. In Sumatran folklore, certain animals like tigers or large pythons are regarded as nanek, spirit animals or totem creatures with mystical significance. The orang pendek, however, is viewed in more straightforward terms, as a rare animal of the deep jungle, worthy of respect for its power, but not worshipped or feared as an omen. That said, villagers do fear the orang pendek's sheer strength and prefer to keep a safe distance if one is spotted. Hunters and forest foragers share cautionary tales of its capabilities. A broad-chested short person that could easily overpower an unwary human in close quarters. Traditionally, people living around Kerinci would avoid harming the orang pendek, both out of fear and perhaps a bit of reverence for an elusive neighbour. Some stories suggest that if an orang pendek wanders into farmland to steal sugarcane or fruit, villagers might simply leave it be or gently drive it off, rather than confront it. Modern expedition reports include a farmer's claim that an orang pendek broke into his shed to steal sugarcane, prying wooden planks off the walls with ease. This creature, in local eyes, is a curious and uncanny denizen of the forest, not a ghost, but certainly a being that blurs the line between animal and something almost human. The outside world first caught wind of the orang pendek in the early 20th century, when Sumatra was under Dutch colonial rule. Curious rumours of a wild short man in the highland forests began circulating among planters and officials. One of the earliest recorded encounters comes from 1910, documented by the Dutch colonial governor L.C. Westenenck in 1918. In this account, a surveyor working near the Barrison Mountains, not far from today's Kerinci Park, saw a large hairy creature about 15 metres away in the virgin forest. The creature ran on two legs like a man, but was covered in hair and clearly not an orangutan. The stunned witness noticed the face was not that of an ordinary human, yet not exactly like an ape's either, a truly strange sight. A few years later, in 1917, another planter named Mr. Oosting had a close encounter at the base of Bukit Kabar, a mountain in Bengkulu. He came upon a figure sitting on the ground about 30 feet away, and at first glance took it for a person squatting. This individual was as big as a medium-sized human in build, with thick, squared shoulders. Its body colour struck Oosting as unusual, a dusty black or greyish-black, almost like dark earth. The moment it noticed him, the creature rose upright to roughly 1.75 metres, about Oosting's own height. Only then did he realise it was not a man. The being casually walked away on 2 feet, then reached up with an extraordinarily long arm to grab a sapling and effortlessly swung itself into the trees. Oosting, unarmed and startled, could only watch as this agile ape vanished, with powerful, seemingly effortless leaps through the canopy. Sightings continued into the 1920s in southwestern Sumatra. In 1927, a Kerinci resident and plantation worker, A.H.W. Kramer, reported seeing an orang pendek from just 10 metres away. He described it as having long hair and dark, almost black skin. Startled, the creature fled, but Kramer later found a trail of small human-like footprints. The same year, 1927, another intriguing incident allegedly occurred. An orang pendek was said to have fallen into a tiger pit trap. The short humanoid managed to break free to escape, but in the struggle, it left behind some blood on the trap spikes. A Dutch zoologist, Dr. K.W. Dammerman, examined the dry blood and concluded it did not belong to any known local animal. It wasn't from a sun bear, gibbon or human, the only likely candidate. Such reports fueled further interest in the orang pendek. By the 1930s, however, interest waned. The tumult of World War II and Indonesia's fight for independence meant few were investing energy in cryptid hunting. For decades, the orang pendek stayed mostly in the realm of scattered local anecdotes. It wasn't until the late 20th century that this Sumatran legend resurfaced in a big way. Thanks in large part to a Western researcher who took the story seriously and set out to find the creature. In 1989, an English woman named Debbie Martyr arrived in Sumatra as a travel journalist and soon became the foremost orang pendek investigator. While camping on the slopes of Mount Kerinci, Martyr's local guide casually mentioned that orang pendeks were sometimes seen in the area east of nearby Lake Gunung Tuja. Surprised by the matter-of-fact revelation that this short ape was still reportedly around, Martyr grew curious. The guide, Jamruddin, even claimed he had seen orang pendek twice himself, though he noted the creature was becoming rarer as farming expanded into the forests. Intrigued, Martyr decided to stay in Sumatra and investigate. Over the next 15 years, she collected hundreds of eyewitness accounts from villagers, hunters, and others who claimed to have seen the ape. Her dedication paid off when, in 1990, she had her own sighting of the orang Pendek. Marta later described what she saw in vivid detail. "I saw an animal that didn't look like anything in any of the books I had read. It did indeed walk rather like a person, and that was a shock," she recounted. The creature was small but immensely strong, a non-human primate, built like a boxer with immense upper body strength, yet moving gracefully on two legs. It resembled a siamang or agile gibbon on steroids. It doesn't look like an orangutan. Their proportions are very different, Marta noted, highlighting the orang Pendek's unique form. The first-hand testimony from a Westerner helped revive interest in the cryptid. Together with wildlife photographer Jeremy Holden, Marta launched a long-term project, funded by Fauna and Flora International, to find definitive proof of the orang Pendek. They employed camera traps in the rainforest and went on countless treks, though capturing a clear photo or video proved frustratingly elusive. Holden himself got a fleeting glimpse of a dark, upright figure disappearing into foliage, but managed only to photograph its footprints on a jungle trail. By the late 1990s and 2000s, a number of cryptozoologists and scientists joined the hunt. British researcher Adam Davies led expeditions into Kerinci, accompanied by colleagues like Andrew Sanderson and Keith Townley. In 1999, Davies found a set of fresh tracks high in the rainforest and made plaster casts of these footprints. The cast impression showed a primate-like foot about 20 centimetres long, with a broad heel and distinct toes, not matching any known species in Sumatra. Davies also recovered some coarse hairs stuck to tree bark near the footprints. These physical clues were sent to experts for analysis. Dr. David Chivers, a primate biologist at Cambridge University, compared the 1990 footprint cast to those of gibbons, orangutans, chimps, and other local fauna. He concluded that the print was definitely an ape, but with a unique mix of features, a blend of gibbon, orangutan, chimpanzee, and human traits, unlike any known primate. In Chivers' professional opinion, the print did not match any known primate species, strongly suggesting a large unknown primate in the forests of Sumatra. Similarly, a hair sample was examined by mammalian hair specialist Dr. Hans Brunner, who reported that the hairs originated from a previously undocumented species of primate, after comparing their characteristics to all known animal hairs in the region. These findings, while tantalising, were not published formally in scientific journals, so they remained intriguing anecdotal evidence, pending further proof. In 2009 and 2011, zoologist Richard Freeman of the Centre for Fortean Zoology organised some of the largest orang Pendek expeditions to date. Freeman's team split up to cover different altitudes of Kerenci's jungles, one group probing the high montane forests around Lake Gunung, Tuja, and another staking out the cultivated fringes where the creature was rumoured to raid crops. These expeditions yielded multiple clues. Local guides led the team to spots where ginger plants had been chewed and rattan stalks broken, allegedly a feeding sign of orang Pendek, which has a taste for these plants. In one exciting moment, Freeman's guide Sahar and his brother discovered a strange hand-like print next to a shredded log, as if something had torn it apart to get at grubs. The team quickly made a cast of the print for study, The resulting plaster cast revealed broad sausage-shaped fingers and a short thumb, clearly a handprint, not a foot, and intriguingly gorilla-like in shape, despite coming from Sumatra, where no gorillas exist. Freeman noted the cast's rounded palm and stubby thumb looked nothing like the long, slender hand of an orangutan. In fact, it resembled the hand of a small chimp or gorilla. Freeman's team also gathered several hair samples near the print site, carefully preserving them for DNA testing. At the time, they sent these hairs to laboratories, including to geneticist Dr. Brian Sight at Oxford, in hopes of extracting usable DNA. The anticipation was high. Could genetic analysis finally provide hard evidence of this mystery ape? The results, unfortunately, were less than dramatic. When a comprehensive DNA study of alleged cryptid hair samples was published in 2014, it revealed that one hair, reported to be from an orang pendek, actually came from a known animal, a Malayan tapir. None of the dozens of hair specimens from anomalous primates around the world yielded new species in that study. They were all traced to bears, cows, deer, and other creatures. This was a scientific setback for those hoping for quick scientific validation. But it's worth noting that collectible viable DNA in a rainforest environment is extremely difficult. Hair and droppings degrade fast in the heat and moisture, and the single tested sample might not represent all evidence. To this day, no confirmed DNA photo or carcass of an orang pendek has been obtained. Yet the eyewitness sightings, footprint casts, and unidentifiable hairs keep the investigation very much alive. Some speculate that orang pendek might not be an ape at all, but rather a surviving hominin, essentially an early human relative that endured into modern times in this secluded refuge. The discovery of Homo florencinus, the dwarf hobbit human, on Flores Island in Indonesia, shocked the scientific world in 2004, proving that a small human-like species existed as recently as 50,000 years ago. Some have drawn parallels to orang pendek. Could it be a distant cousin, or another branch of the human family tree? Local folklore in Kerinci even contains stories of the orang kardil, or little forest people, a separate legend about tiny human-like beings around 3 feet tall, hairless bodies with long head hair, who live deep in the jungle and carry poison-tipped spears. This sounds more like mythical pygmy humans than apes, and one tale recounts a fatal conflict between villagers and these small forest people in the 1980s. While the orang kardil legend is distinct from the orang pendek, it adds to the anthropological intrigue of unverified hominins in Sumatra. Most researchers, however, emphasise that orang pendek reports sound much more like an ape, with pronounced arm length, body hair, and no use of tools or fire, than like a human or little people society. Until definitive evidence emerges, the true nature of orang pendek remains an open question, hovering on the boundary of zoology and legend.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
This is Paige, the co-host of Giggly Squad. I use Uber Eats for everything, and I feel like people forget that you can truly order anything, especially living in New York City. It's why I love it. You can get Chinese food at any time of night, but it's not just for food. I order from CVS all the time. I'm always ordering from the grocery store. If a friend stops over, I have to order champagne. I also have this thing that whenever I travel, if I'm ever in a hotel room, I never feel like I'm missing something because I'll just Uber Eats it. The amount of times I've had to Uber Eats hair items like hairspray, deodorant, you name it, I've ordered it on Uber Eats. You can get grocery, alcohol, everyday essentials in addition to restaurants and food you love. So in other words, get almost anything with Uber Eats. Order now. For alcohol, you must be legal drinking age. Please enjoy responsibly. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
So, what do you think it is?
I don't know, maybe a Sam Squant.
And there it is. The word. I love it. Yeah, it's really interesting story, isn't it? Because I think there's always got to be something in it if you have communities talking about something in the woods. And they've been talking about it for like decades.
Yeah.
It's got to come from somewhere. And I'll say it again. I believe in Sasquatch.
Yeah. I mean, they probably are around late.
They are. Whether they're from this dimension or another, there's something out there in the woods, especially during summer.
Yeah. Well, that's in this episode. I hope you enjoyed and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. We will catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
This is Paige, the co-host of Giggly Squad. I use Uber Eats for everything, and I feel like people forget that you can truly order anything, especially living in New York City. It's why I love it. You can get Chinese food at any time of night, but it's not just for food. I order from CVS all the time. I'm always ordering from the grocery store. If a friend stops over, I have to order champagne. I also have this thing that whenever I travel, if I'm ever in a hotel room, I never feel like I'm missing something because I'll just Uber Eats it. The amount of times I've had to Uber Eats hair items like hairspray, deodorant, you name it, I've ordered it on Uber Eats. You can get grocery, alcohol, everyday essentials in addition to restaurants and food you love. So in other words, get almost anything with Uber Eats. Order now. For alcohol, you must be legal drinking age. Please enjoy responsibly. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Hey everybody, it's Nicole Byer here with some hot takes from Wayfair. A cozy corduroy sectional from Wayfair? Yeah, that's a hot take. Go on and add it to your cart and take it. A pink glam nightstand from Wayfair? Scalding hot take. Take it before I do. A mid-century modern cabinet from Wayfair that doubles as a wine bar? Do I have to say it? It's a hot take. Get it at Wayfair.com and enjoy that free shipping too.
Wayfair, every style, every home.